Hello, hello. How is everyone? There we go. Put some light on this situation. Yeah. Let's see. Let's turn this around. Let's get something. Don't want this serpentine. That's too dark. There we go. That's, give me some eyelashes. All right. Well, we'll go with that. We're going with this look. I like to. There we go. Whew, got a little bit of cleavage going on there today. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me. I do have my shawl. I'm sitting on it behind me, and we're going to go through a few things. I'm in the process right now of making a Beltane little journal. So if anybody's interested in it, just let me know, and I'll put it up. I'm not. I don't know. Someone told Anyways. Oh, what the hell is going on here? There we go. I need to have, even though it's warming up outside, our little basement suite gets very chilly down here. It could be like getting really warm outside, but down here it can get cold. Like you can get like, woo, where's that chill? And the windows are closed. Everything's closed. I mean, we do have pretty good windows, but I am in a basement suite. What can I say? So welcome. Take that away. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining me today. I have Lippy on. I do have the Lippy on. So my name is Mary June Tracy, psychic medium, spiritual love of life coach, coming to you with a 411 of the astrology. It's kind of an odd day. I'm going to say Mars and the moon are together. We're going to discuss that, and Venus and Neptune are together. And it's very mystical and magical. And with this energy too, I'm doing up a Beltane journal, and I think I'm going to just put it up for $1.99. That's what I was going to do. It's like a little journal for $1.99. People, if you want it, it's going to be in a PDF form. You can download it and help to guide you. And I'll have that later on today. Guide you with this Beltane energy. And I feel like it's very transformational and getting into the spirit of the energies that are coming in, and allowing us to step forward into some newness in the chaos, because there's a lot that's coming forward in this world that we need to spiritually prepare for. I don't think we're really prepared. Like, I don't think a lot of people understand the transformations that are coming forth spiritually. And as these are coming forth, this is where things are changing with for people, and I'm talking in a spiritual sense, and how we deal with our spiritual guidance, how we deal with our divine, how things are going to be transformational and changing, and even to a point where, in doing what I do, I mean, coming under attack in some way. Right now, there are some crazy astrologers out there, and listening to some of them, and some of them are, okay, maybe they're fucked. I'm just saying. Like, they don't have a basis. Like, soon as I said that, it was really weird. I got really like, whoa, like I got whoa, like really dizzy. Like, but some of them are using very demonic things uh with charts and that, and they're using sigils, and they're using a lot of dark magic. And definitely you can do that. But you got to look at, with a lot of what's happening in the world. Yeah, there's a lot of that going on. And I don't think, sometimes I wonder if people really understand, or they just don't want to understand, or don't look at it. But it's like I know it, I see it. I could feel it. And this is bringing in that change within ourselves and us reaching up to a higher vibration, a higher transition within our own selves. And there's so many really positive workers out there that are doing some really positive work, but then you have these forces that are doing nutter stuff out there, and they're on YouTube, they're on TikTok, and I see them, and then I get I get people like, "This person said this, and this person said that," and I just like, "Oh my god." And then I go and I look at their TikTok, and they're like, on this especially this one, this guy who's this shaman, whatever, claim whatever you want, that's fine. But the shaman, and he's like, "Yeah, astrology is wrong." And like all of these people are coming, "Astrology is wrong." And I'm like, "Okay, so what is your claim on that?" Like, what is it that you are claiming that astrology is wrong? Well, look at, all these, the signs are in the wrong. You're in a wrong sign. And I'm like, okay, but it's based on a zodiac. Zodiac is a structure, 360-degree structure that was actually started 6,000 plus years ago. And it's based on the rotation, especially Western astrology, not a Vedic. A Vedic astrology is different. But with it, and it's based on the zodiac. And the zodiac is sort of like you put this graph over our solar system, over into the universe. And then you can watch how, because then you can see how the planets are moving. Yes, there's other constellations in that are out there. I definitely, there's many. But for the zodiac, it's based on 12 zodiac signs that are 0 to 29 degrees, making 360-degree circumference. And and the zodiac is used, it's not helio, it is it's Western astrology. Helio is when you take it from the sun's perspective of where the planets are, right? In Western astrology, we take it from the Earth's perspective of how the planets are moving and where they are. And then you hear these, they have no idea of what they're talking about. And then they're saying, well, you're not this, you're this. And I'm like, if you're using sidereal is a totally different astrology. Very accurate, very good. But a lot of their basis is based on the moon. Not A lot of sidereal astrologers don't use the outer planets. You're getting more that are using the outer planets, that didn't use them before. And so they use where the planets are, right? Still using a zodiac, still using the 12 signs, but basing them on where they are in the sky at that exact time, if that makes any sense. Anyways, so I know, and both are very accurate. Both give you very accurate readings and, um, looking at, and it's just a different way of looking at things. For me, I do a lot of predictive astrology and looking into the history. So does Ayurvedic. If you get a good Ayurvedic astrologer, they will do the history. Knowing the history and understanding the history of the planets. And that's where I find some of these astrologers that are coming out and saying a bunch of bullshit, is that they are not looking at the history. That when these conjunctions happen or when these aspects happen, this is what has happened in the past. We can go back and we can look at what this vibration is and how that vibration works in the grand scheme of things. And that's how many really good astrologers do. And they come through it by an objective view. They don't, and that's a whole other part too. It's like, when you listen to some really good astrologers, and they're coming from the astrological view, people get mad because they're coming in, well, this is just, I'm just showing you what's going on. How you take it is totally up to you. How you imply that, because what astrology is, it's a roadmap on showing you, okay, there's some turbulent waters that are coming forward. This is why I say this is time to prepare. This is time, to really watch what you're doing or saying. People are going to be angry, right? This is preparing you. So when you go out there and then you like all of a sudden feel like, "Arr!" And you're like, "Arr!" You're really, gruffy and grumpy and angry. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. And even to understand it even more of where it is in your chart and understanding your chart. Many years ago, when men, usually it was men going into university, astrology and astronomy were together. They were both studied together. They weren't differentiated. It wasn't until the church separated them and calling astrology evil, and because of the predictions that they did, because of the information that they had, because of a lot of work that Nostradamus did and many other famous astrologers. And this is where they wanted to poo-poo it because it was getting into the commoners' hands. People were starting to really understand where the planets were, understanding the rotations of the planets. And when the commoners started to understand that, farmers could do it very easily. Farmers would go out there and they'd be watching the clouds. They'd be watching where the planets were or where the stars were, and they got a really good, idea of, okay, this is, every time I see this planet with the moon, this is what has happened every single year, kind of thing, or every 5 years or every 7 years in this direction. They could start doing their own little predictions. Well, if the church starts coming in and saying, well, it's evil and you will go to hell and you will be condemned, people are like, oh, I can't do that. That's just like poo poo, like pushing it away. And that's very similar to what's happening now. There's a lot of people who the information is out there, and a lot of people are utilizing the information, and the powers that be don't like it because astrology and a lot of divinations were utilized by kings and queens, billionaires and millionaires, and the oligarchs, or those the people with a lot of money or influence. They are the ones, and they still today use a lot of that information that they got. That's why they are able to do a lot of the craziness that happens in the world. Because the other part too is that when you go down to the commoners, they have no idea. They don't understand. And then they either take it by, oh, well, they must be right because, they are who they are. And you see it happen quite often, right? When things get thrown out of their alignment, or they're not no their alignment, they get very upset, and then all of a sudden you start seeing them have tizzy fits and stuff like that on social media. A prime example would be Hitler used astrology and how he set up his attacks, how he did. There were a lot of things that he didn't know, and the changes that were coming, because they knew about Pluto, but they didn't take Pluto into consideration when they were doing charts. And when I think it was Pluto moved into Gemini at that time, it just caused total disruption and chaos into his world, and losing the war, and how it hit his own natal chart, because I believe he's a 0 degrees Taurus. Same with the Queen. I'm pretty sure he's a Taurus. I know the Queen was a Taurus. So having that, I have to do it my way. This is the way I'm going to do it. Very stubborn, very, very. Everything had to be a protocol kind of thing. With the Taurus energy, which we're in right now, and we're seeing a lot that's going on in the world right now. So we're seeing a lot that, when I see these, different TikTokers that are coming out and they're talking about, the planets, or they fluff it up. I don't fluff it up. I tell it as it is. This is as it is. This is what has happened before. Now, I'll give you a for instance. Let's go for instance. Uh, my sound effects. So one of the things that that's happening today, and it is a very powerful conjunction, and it's a conjunction that we haven't seen since 1862. Now, what's crazy is that we're bringing up all these dates, and you're just like 1862. And, the Venus conjunction with Neptune in Aries occurred, in April of 1862, and indeed marked a significant, very historical and energetic um, pathway. Venus, the planet of love and um, values and beauty and relationships, and Neptune, the dream god, the drug lord, and then Neptune, merging with this. But this is where the Neptune are coming together in Aries, and the Venus Neptune in Aries coming in. So they met together in Pisces, and then Venus was retrograde, right? And so he went off and he went into Aries. And that's where he is now. He's sitting there in Aries. Neptune is. And the things that happened during that time were the Battle of Shiloh, which is it was in April 6th to 7th in 1862. It was a bloody battle, over 23,000 casualties that happened. It was shattered illusions of a short or noble war. So classic to a Neptune area. So you're going to see a lot of clashing, things clashing. War intensified during that time. So there was a lot of battles, and that's what you're going to start seeing. So you're going to start seeing a lot of battles, things intensifying in the world around us, and especially as where um, Uranus is coming near the end at the 27 degrees. So these are degrees, as I say, the beginning and the end of a sign. These are very critical degrees, and this is meeting at 0 degrees in Aries. Now, the other things that were happening during that time were the spiritualist movement. So, this was gaining traction, especially among women. So, connections to the Neptune mystical idealism, Venus, beauty. Women were looking and searching for things at that time. They were, there was the romanticism of Europe and the influences of literature and music, and often using themes of longing, sorrow, and heroism. So there was this beautiful energy for looking for more substance, more divine substance within one's life, looking for a connection with a higher power, trying to explain more of their own intuition and their own their own selves. So there was this beautiful spiritualist movement that was going on during this time as well. We also have, Homestead Act. The Homestead Act came to be in May of 1862, and it passed shortly after the conjunction. So it allowed people to claim land in the American West, right? So if you've ever seen old westerns where people get on a horse and they're running out to claim land or claim a spot, that was back in 1862. People were going out and wanting to claim their spot and get land for farming. So dreams of freedom and were coming in, and that's with that Neptune. Neptune, rooted in Aries, wants freedom, wants to, it's that fire. We're going to go out and we're going to do this. You know, we did. We know about the after effects, but this is what was happening at this time. So the thing is that there's this romantic illusion that can come in where we want to romanticize things. So we have a huge spiritual awakening or sacrificial love tied to war and idealism. So there's this really weird anomaly that happens with these two together, and especially in Aries, and especially since it's been a long time since they've been together. So this is where we are going to start seeing things where romantic movies coming out, what you might be choosing, which is quite interesting, and how what people choose, right? That's where the word stakeholder comes from. Yes, yes, it does. this is where also, when you go and you purchase something, it's like all of a sudden you're like, "Oh, but this is I want to bring in more flowers. I want to bring in this." That's the energy. It starts coming in, and it sort of, I'm gonna say this is may not. It comes in and kinda, like, tickles you. It kinda gets you to sort of, like, look at things in a new way, and really, begin to, where people might be drawn to learning more about the 1940s and what was happening around that, and really romanticize it in some way, right? So we have that, and that comes along with this energy as well. So this is like being very rooted in that. Then we have where the draft, proclamation, the Emancipation Proclamation was being drafted. I'm not drafted, but being drafted by Abraham Lincoln. It was announced in 1962 or 1862, reshaping ideals of liberty and justice. So, what we are going to be discovering and where we are coming into is that we're going to be discovering liberty and justice and what that actually means. We're going to be seeing a rediscovery of that. We're going to see how people are going to want to withhold liberty and justice. Um, I there was a trying to think of their name right now. Anyways, you can't follow them on Instagram in Canada. They're banned. They're banned. Yeah, I can follow them on YouTube, but I can't follow them on Instagram. And I was shocked. Like, I just never seen where, because I put them on I put their name into Instagram, and it was banned in Canada. I have never seen that personally, right? And that was the very first time I've ever seen something like that. I was just totally taken away, totally shocked by it, right? So this is where, when it comes to liberty and justice, writing this out, right? This is where people are going to say things about, liberty and just the martial law, seeing things being taken away, and seeing where people, revolutionary ideas and new ideas coming in. We just had 193,000 votes or signed for a separation in Canada and separation in Alberta in less than 24 hours. 190 193? Yeah, 193,000 people signed the petition on having a referendum. Wow. Well, if that's not rewriting something, if that's not telling you something, and here we're having this conjunction come together, right? Now, this is just one little aspect that's happening up in the heavens right now, but I feel it's quite crucial one, because it's one that really has a lot of um, mysticism around it. It's one that's bringing in a lot of passion um, for Aries, and it's also bringing in harsh realities of war to us, and the art, while art and spirit try to offer some escapism or some redemption. So we have this, building up. We have this building up. And I was just listening to a podcast today, and there was, talking about our new salute, elbows up, and they're like, "Oh, fine salute as we're going to be entering into a war." And just listening to a lot of the different podcasters that are coming out, and a lot of American podcasters who are just quite pissed at the election, just as much as a lot of Canadians are. But it's, when you take that higher spiritual perch and you really are watching things, and you're taking, this is where I feel like how the divine does it. God has a bigger view of things than what we do. We get a very narrow view of how we think things are going. And that's why sometimes when it gets all mucked up and we get all muddled and we're all over the place, it's because God has a different view for us. The universe, divine, has a broader view for us and can see something more, very Uranian, right? A bigger view for us, a view on a higher post for us. And that's what I feel is it's there for us, but it's going through all of this craziness that's coming in. And this is very like this fusion of this Venus and Neptune and Aries is very mystical, longing, and it's raw, it's fire. Like, you got to think of this energy of like it's going from water to fire. Like, it's not it's going to be a lot of steam, there's going to be a lot of things being let off, right? And then you're going to have um Jupiter Jupiter, not Jupiter, I'm looking at my notes here. You're going to have Saturn coming in there shortly, right? So there is this boldness, this rawness that is coming in, and it's wanting us to really gather on. And this Neptune can blur lines, right? Not everything is glitter, not everything is gold, right? So it can be very blurry, we're very unassured. That's why you got a lot of people running back to the church. The Catholic Church has grown immensely over the last, I'm going to say, over 2 years, and especially after the lockdowns and stuff. A lot of people, and when Saturn started going into Pisces, and and I was looking at it, and I thought to myself, yeah, a lot of people are going to go back to religion, but I didn't realize how many. I mean, Justin Bieber just put out like I don't know how many songs about Jesus. He just put a song out about the Pope. Um, all of these, from Candace Owens to um Russell Brand being Catholic now. Uh, it's quite amazing, even for, in what did Trump, he has this a cabinet of faith or something like that. And this one woman who can speak tongues and stuff, very weird. But it's that's building is very, it can get very blurred. There could be very blurred lines with this. I'm just telling people, right? So it's like when people go all or nothing and become, that's so devout Catholic. This is why I'm so, the way I was raised with my parents is probably different than my siblings, obviously, because they're 14 years older than me. I was raised in a very, I think, a more understanding of the religion, and we went through a lot of differences, right? Eminem and Rihanna, yeah, just came out with a song, and they did, Eminem, Rihanna, and Justin Bieber came out with a song as well. That's, that's like, oh my god, um, crazy. But this is where it's these blurred lines are. So there's this blurriness that comes in with Neptune. And this is where, because people get so um with the tunnel vision, and especially with the Mars energy, and we'll be bringing in that Mars energy in Leo, it's like, I want to go. And it's like, okay, well, if you're going on the helmet, if you're going to go ass out, bent out of hell, do you have your helmet on? Do you have your leather on? Are you ready to go? And a lot of people are just like, I just want to go. And that's when you forget things, you stumble, you could break bones during this time, right? This is where people will get concussions. It's, especially with Aries, it's ahead, right? So when it comes to things with Leo, this is where people can get, too wound up. So you can get high blood pressure, stroke, heart attack, things along that line, right? So you have to be aware of what you're doing. It's like if you're going my, the image I got in my head was like, you go to an Indian restaurant and you just order something without knowing how spicy it is. You say, "Oh yeah, this smells good," and you're like, "Ah!" Oh, which would not be me. Just an FYI, would not be me. But someone who doesn't understand the hotness of what food can do. So the illusions, burn away. So expect a wave of disillusionment, especially in relationships, beliefs you once idealized. This is sacred. It's illusions fall away. Your true divine calling is revealed. So things start to really fall away. Now you're going to find that even more in July, with new themes coming in, especially with Uranus going into Gemini. You're going to see things dramatic, like you're going to feel that That's when things start really getting crazy, 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 you know, because so much is going to be starting to fall away. Right now, people are in it. They're in the mix of this craziness. They're in the mix of all of this. And they will start to see how things are going to like, you know, things start to fall away. Things are like, this is where, those who went for, arms up or whatever the hell it's called, elbows up, is you're going to find that, illusions of what they thought they were going for, that they demonized Trump, and they demonized, oh, he's a bad orange man. He's so bad. Look at what he's doing. It's like, okay, you're not looking at your own country. You're not looking at other things that are going on. These things are going to be in their face, especially when a lot of people like this are going to find that, oh, you mean I can't go on the beach right now because somebody pooped it up? Or I can't go over there because there's a bunch of homeless people and they have more rights than I do? I have to have my ID for wherever I go and whatever I do, and I'm being surveilled with whatever with everything, but they're not. Ah, illusions, things, and that's what causes for people to really start to freak out. That causes for people to start to get like angry and frustrated and mad, right? There's also with this Venus. And Venus here, like here, she doesn't wait because one, she does not like Aries. She doesn't want to be there. So she wants to fight. There's a fight. People want to fight for love, for beauty, for justice. And you got to remember, Aries is there. Aries is sitting there in Aries, and she's been there for a long time. She's retrograde right now. And she's just like, this is, excuse, I got to say this. This is what she is. She's like, yeah, you motherfucker. I've been here all the time. I know what it means to be, to have justice. I know what it means to fight for the underdog. You're just showing up now and think you know it all. So you got these fierce goddesses coming out and just saying, I've been telling you all along, but you haven't been listening. Now you see. So we have very much these mystic warriors that are coming in. And we're going to see that, there's a buildup. So remember, as I'm saying that, this is a buildup. It's like the kickoff. And things are going, it's just like it just doesn't happen overnight. These are little buildups, and things are going, as Venus moves along, and she comes out of shadow, and she gets going. Neptune is still there. He's still vibrating in these spots. He's still there, holding it out and pushing it all off. He's just getting dumped on with all of this extra energy, and putting it, in the mix. Okay. So some of the things you can do, and that's what I love. I love to give you things that you could do. If you have rose quartz, bring in your rose quartz. If you have red jasper or seashells or even frankincense, create a beautiful sort of an altar to Neptune and Venus, right? Bring in a rose quartz, put it in your pocket. The other one is, it'll come to me. It's a blue stone. I'm trying to think. Aquamarine. Aquamarine. There. So bring some aquamarine and rose quartz. Oh my God. What a combination. So you can bring in the love and the water, and aquamarine is great for manifesting and bringing in positivity. If you want to, light some frankincense around your home, right? Journal prompts. I'm doing the journaling. The magical journey starts tomorrow. So here's a journal prompt for you guys. What dream or love would I fight for? What vision is worth stepping into the fire for? Like, what am I stepping into? What do I really want to do? What do I want to create within my realm? And dance. Do a little dance. Channel the dream. Make art. Do something of a devotion. This could be that you go to a dinner theater this weekend, right? I've never been to a dinner theater. We got the Jubilee little thingy down not far from us. And, let's make a reservation and go for a dinner. Yeah. If you guys want to fund that, you can actually do a donation to buy me a coffee. So something like that, a spiritual cleansing, which these are also really great because we're going into the Beltane. And the Beltane journal is going to be coming out later, and it's going to be $1.99, $2 if you want it. Um, so we have that's coming in. Somebody just said they can't just send me $2. Okay, $5, then we'll make it five. Uh, the veils lift, and the dream you've hidden in your heart begins to pulse. Mm. So do a spiritual cleansing. And as you're doing a spiritual cleansing, the veil is lifted. In fact, the veil is so thin right now, it's like you can almost grab everything on the other side. It's that crazy. And it's the dreams you've hidden in your heart begin to pulse with life. Do not run from its call. Love, true, divine, courage, and courageousness. Ask not for safety, but for surrender. Go now into the fire and trust that the sacred will meet you there. Trust the divine is there. This is so important for you to really enter into that divine will and allow for that divine will for guidance. This is opening our crown chakra, right? Where the hell can you buy a coffee for $2? And who the hell would you say that to? And who the hell would say that to you? You sent me $5. But whatever. So we are. Venus enters Aries, it's boldness, it's love, and it's expression. All right. This is shifting. This is encouragement. So remember, and it's spontaneity. We're bringing that in. This is boldness. This is where you're going to see some crazy ass fashion coming out. So really take a look. If any of you are like right now, the trend is right now it's a sort of a marine trend, a naval trend. So if you look at a lot of clothes that are coming out, the pants, they're sort of wide but not go all the way down to the ankle. My sister Judy would tell me that that's just normal because she's 6 feet. She could never find proper pants. And where you're going to find like striped tops, and maybe tops just go right above your belly button kind of thing. Seashells and things like that are very nautical style is very coming in for the spring. So this is like looking at what kind of fashions that are coming out. So taking a look at the different types of fashion. Some of you are probably saying, well, I don't look at anything. If you've ever watched The Devil Wears Prada, and there's a scene when she talks about, she looks at her and she's like, you probably don't even think about where all those colors come from, where your belt has come from. Well, it came from this office. What we chose trickles down. So you might think I just wear a sweatshirt and jeans and that's it. But we don't think of going on. We don't think of where that all came from, or the colors that came together to create that. So this is where it's like funny because when I'm looking at, with the energies that are coming in and the fashion, it's coming in. So we're going to see a lot of boldness when it comes to fashion. We're going to see a lot of really where people are. The one thing about Aries, it's the I am, right? It's the head. So you're going to see a lot more I'm going to say put together outfits. Not everything. I'm just looking at not my outfit particularly, not me, but you're going to see outfits that are put together. So what those put together outfits are. So people are going to be dressed more favorably. You're going to find people where, before they go out, they make sure that, their makeup's done and everything else. You're going to see these changes start to happen where kids aren't looking so frumpy, right? And that's the thing. It's like things aren't going to be so frumpy. So a lot more things put together, and especially when you're going into wartime energies and stuff like that, and you look at fashion, things get cinched up and men get clean shaven. So you're going to start eventually seeing over the next little while, especially over the next, I'm going to say a couple years, where men are going to start, being clean shaven. They're not going to have their beard, right? It's going to be, or even, when, you see all these guys that just do the shadow and stuff, you're going to see a lot more that are very clean shaven, instead of having that beard or that long beard. You're going to see, because a lot right now, because it was very much the trend to have the long beard and be sort of the, try to be that mountain man kind of thing. So, anyways, huge change with that. So now we come into this moon. This moon is conjuncting with Jupiter and Gemini, and it's an expression of ideas and communication. So, along with all of this, this is the other aspect that's happening, and it's very strong. This is fostering optimism, a thirst for knowledge. Now, you got to remember, Jupiter is there, Jupiter's in Gemini. So, he's going to make it larger than life. He's going to expand things and make them feel very somewhat out of reach, somewhat where it's very um hard to connect with, like, or get you where it's just going to be overwhelming, which then can cause a lot of frustration with that, and having that frustration. So we have this, this Mars or this moon with Jupiter today. So this is bringing in a lot of wanting to create newness, wanting to create something different, with what we are doing. And it's, that with that moon in Gemini and stuff, it's emotional, and then Mars is drive. So we want to bring forth did I say Jupiter? Oh, sorry. I meant Mars, moon and the Mars. I was looking at Jupiter, my information on Jupiter, with Jupiter making it large. So Jupiter definitely wants to expand things. Now we have the moon, which is an internal piece, coming forth, and the moon coming forth with Mars is that drive. But Gemini is, and you got to remember, is the nervous system, it's the duality, it's the intellect and communication. So this is where, mind becomes an emotional territory, and heart reacts quickly. So sometimes very explosive. So we got a lot of explosive energy that's coming in right now. And with that explosiveness that's coming in. And as we look at it, especially, going back to the explosiveness that's coming in, this is really looking at how we are reacting to things, how we are looking at what is going on, and how we are going to be dealing with it, right? So there's so much coming in. I feel like the universe is striving for balance, but we are just before a big tipping point. Absolutely. Absolutely. Trying to bring forth, and it's just all of this expansiveness, and especially when we're coming into, into May, and into, the middle of this of spring. There is no real water per se in this energy. So it's very, earthly, very dry. It's very, fiery. So we can get a lot of things because of things being so dry, very brittle, and the wind, igniting things even more. And we can feel where we are feeling out of sync with things. And this is where things can get crazy, crazy, right? So just 1 second, I'm just pulling up one of my things. And things can get very much, and this is what I'm going to say is like very much a cosmic cocktail, an expansion, emotion, curiosity that's coming in. Mars igniting things. This is where, with Mars and Jupiter, it's like very, um, the heart learning how to speak in a different way, speak in many different ways. So this is where feelings and fast thoughts coming in. This is where things can get muddled because it's very, and you got to think of everything, again, what I just said about the Venus and Neptune. And now we have, with the moon and Jupiter, and going back to the moon and Jupiter, because I just looked at my astro moon and Jupiter, it's very rapid, and it's rapid fire, and there's a hunger. I want to do things, and I want to express things. I want to, go ahead and feel things. And this is a higher vibration. This is a vibration that really wants you to learn, wants you to do things. Once the reason I'm talking so much today, you want to learn, you want to express. There's an emotional freedom and curiosity right now. But you got to watch, there's an emotional um extravagance that comes in, so the drama queen can come in, even in text, so people can be scattered feelings, too many thoughts, too many, things can be too much focus, too much. And that's the Jupiter energy, right? Everything's just like, and then the moon heightens it with its, with feelings. Feel this, feel this, feel this, and you're like, fuck off, fuck off, fuck off. I don't want to feel anymore. So it it is one that has us today about really speaking with kindness. Drink lots of water today. Bring in, something that's whispering. I would add some lemon into your water. Add something that is a little bit of peppermint into your water. So sip it slowly. Don't just down it. Drink. Here's the little thing. I drink in understanding. I speak with grace. My heart is heard. This is what we want to do. We want to bring this beauty into our life right now and allow for this to grow and step into this beautiful wisdom, this beautiful energy that's igniting us. And it's igniting us in some very beautiful, profound ways, but it can be overwhelming. It can be. It is a day that really wants to set us forth onto some new tracks, onto a new place. You know, and so yeah. Yeah, baby. So my Beltane journal will be out. Um, Give me a couple more hours. I'm still I woke up this morning with the idea that this is what I'm going to do. So you could tell that there was an igniting of fire that got under my ass this morning. I got to do this. And I started doing it this morning. And Steve goes, well, we got to go pick up the kids. Oh my God. Interruptions. Then I had to come home. Um, and then Steve goes, nope, we got, he said, let's go for a walk. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we'll go for a walk, because my my energy gets, but I started something, I got to finish it, I got to continue on this. And I could get very like, oh, I don't break this up, because I get very frustrated. And it's like, no, that's a good thing. I went for a walk, it loosened my hips, it loosened some of the energies. To go, went by the water, did a little video, but it's just embracing the energies. I could fucking Gemini making me talk so much. Ah. And the funny thing is, this is funny, haha, because I had the idea about the Beltane journal, and sometimes I get these ideas years, and I'm like, oh wow, this is going to be a lot of work. And I had one basically done. I just have to sort of basically make it pretty, cut and paste it from my Word doc into my Canva, and then upload it onto a PDF. It's like buying a book, or you buy an extra crystal and you don't know why you bought the crystal. So you put it aside until that person walks in. You're like, oh, this is for you. Oh, I bought this for you. Not even thinking, all right, why did I buy 2 books? And there it is for somebody else. Ah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah. That was Edworthy Park. Edworthy Park. So it's just down from my son's elementary school. Go for a walk down by the bow. There's a nice little cafe there too. It's called Angel's Cafe. Oh, look at that. Look what jumped out. So we got this that jumped out. It's our deceit card. So things that you might be deceiving yourself. So you might be getting yourself so much in a rattle, or there might be things happening or overinflated within a relationship that you may not be seeing it, right? So you might not be seeing this. You might be finding that you might be deceiving yourself, or somebody's not deceiving you. You're not getting all the information. Somebody's taken away. There's something there that's been done. So those 2 swords in the back, it's done. Things are done. He's tiptoeing away from the tents, right? So there's a lot of sneakiness that's around there. So somebody who's thinking that things are done, or you think that's done, and but there's still pieces missing. Things aren't the way that you would like them to go. You want a completion, but you're not getting the completion. So that's why you have to go to the higher realms. You have to allow yourself to go to those higher realms. The keys are there. The keys are there for you. You got to trust in your spirit. You got to trust in the way that you look at. But sometimes even within your own spiritual self, you have to take new looks, new ways of doing things, opening your mind. Not just like, well, this is the way we've always done it. This is the way the priest said. This is the way that so and so said we have to do it. No, no, no. This is connecting with your spirit, with your God, with these beautiful mystic goddesses that are coming through right now. I mean, that are coming in fast and furious and wants to bring and enlighten us and expand us in new ways in order for us to have our sovereignty, for us to step into our beauty and step into what is truth and justice in our world, and not be blindly leaded. We just saw, we're seeing it in many places around the world. People are blindly leaded. They're, and you just sort of like, how the hell could this happen? Like, you're just like, you're kind of dumbfounded by how the hell could it happen? But it does, because people want safety, security. They're afraid of the change. They're afraid of what that's going to cause. What's that insecurity? What is that pain? So that illusional line, that Neptune comes in, and it's an illusion. I can't see everything. It's like John Cena, you can't see me. That's a WWE thing, if you guys don't know. Can't see me. And then he comes in. "Urgh!" But it's getting your clarity, right? So getting some water, connecting with the water, getting that clarity, going in and having a ritual bath later on today, or even now if you want. This is about connecting emotional freedom, right? Coming into that emotional freedom and curiosity. This is a beautiful time for luck and emotional abundance, especially if you're open to new perspectives. But you got to step into that new higher realm, because there's so much deceit that's around you. You can't see it from your muggle world. You got to go into the spiritual world. So you got to take time for reflection. You got to go within. You got to take that time, even though you feel like you want to race, you want to go, you want to do, but you got to come into a place that's going to bring you into a sense of peace. Sense of peace. So there you go. And if you would like to buy me a coffee, you could. You can do an e-transfer to the gubermama@gmail.com. Or if you are interested in buying my Beltane PDF that I am setting up, and I'm on page 3. So, and that it's downloadable, it's printable, it's going to be, there is color in it. I make things pretty. Yeah, got to tell you guys that you can put it in black and white if you want, but setting off on this new beautiful energy. And I just tried to make a London fog at home with homemade vanilla and simple syrup. Oh, that's nice. It's really not the same. Okay. Here's a quick lesson for people. Okay, a London fog. How many tea bags did you put in? So usually it's just, if you have a pretty, a little cup, you put in 1 tea bag, right? And then you pour your boiling water in, but you don't pour your boiling water all the way up. You only pour boiling water, it's probably half cup, right? So only a half cup. And then you got to let it steep for about 5 minutes. Well, 2 tea bags. You got to let it steep for 5 minutes. You can't just go dink, 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 and then take it out. It's got to steep for a good 5 minutes, right? So then you take your milk, and however you want it, you put it on the stove, and you heat your milk up to almost a boil. Not quite, but almost a boil. Okay? And you can froth it, you could stir it up or whatever. Then you pour that into your coffee, right? And then, I mean, if you wanted your syrups and stuff, you add your syrups. I should have said you should add whatever syrups you want first. And you said a homemade vanilla simple syrup may not be strong enough with the vanilla because it's usually, if you're getting a London fog, they use a vanilla syrup. So your syrup probably wasn't strong enough for your liking because of what you usually get. And it's depending on what size you're getting, 2, 3, 4. So in a cup like this would get like 2 pumps, which is about 0.05 fluid ounce. Like it's only about that much. But if you're making a simple syrup with vanilla, you got to but it was cold. So yeah, so that's the other. So you made yeah. You got to heat it up on the stove. So how did you a London fog is hot, usually hot, and you want it hot, and that's gonna make a big difference as well. I used a teaspoon. So the thing is that if you're making a vanilla simple syrup, you gotta have that vanilla sit in the simple syrup and for it to absorb. If you're using the vanilla bean, it takes 24 hours. If you are just putting a couple drops of the vanilla in, you gotta allow it to stir up, and you gotta have it just sit for a little bit to infuse. So, and it won't taste the same. Because a couple other things too is that the type of water you're using could be different. The type of tea bags that you're using might be different than the ones that they use at your favorite coffee shop as well. So, and those all make a difference. Just saying. So, on that note, I'm going to love you guys and leave you. And if you're wanting to buy me a coffee, definitely please buy me a coffee. Mama needs coffee more, or adding to my craziness of what I do. The PDF will be up on Facebook and stuff. My tea is hot. The milk that I use is cold. Well, here's an FYI. If you're making a London fog, your milk is not cold. It's hot. So, and that's the same way if you're, if you're making a latte, your milk is hot, not cold. So, and that'll make a difference too. Okay. You guys have a blessed day. Enjoy what you have. Enjoy it. Have a blessed one, everybody. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.